Hello everyone and welcome to this special Diwali show, Three Aces, with me Avanne Dubash and Karunya Rao. This is the show where over the next half hour we will tell you how you should be looking at Samvat 2077 with some pataka picks to light up your portfolio. The markets have been through quite a journey and I'm sure that there's a lot that you're looking forward to in the next Samvat as you prune, tweak and look after your portfolio. So without any further ado, let me bring on board our three experts who are joining us over the next half hour. We've got with us Pankaj Murarka. He is the CIO at Renaissance Investment Managers. We also have Vikas Khemani, founder at Carnelian Capital, as well as Gautam Shah, founder and chief strategist at Goldilocks Premium Research. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking time out and joining in. Well, I'm going to begin with you then, Pankaj. What a year it's been for the equity markets. We started off in March with extreme pessimism and now we're looking to recoup those lifetime highs for the markets. What, according to you, is in store for Samvat 2077?
Last year has been a pretty challenging year because we've been through one of the biggest health crises that the world has seen in the last 100 years. And from an economic point of view also, this year is a year where Indian economy is going to contract, and this is happening after a gap of 40 years. In midst of all these challenges, I still think that the outlook for markets is pretty positive when we look ahead, because the fact remains that in the midst of some of the biggest challenges, we have sown the seeds of a new bull market. And we are at a very early stage of what I think will be a very long bull market.
Fair enough. Vikas, let's get in your opinion because, as we spoke about, things have really changed for the equity markets in terms of the texture. Do you think that now, to a certain extent, after we've dealt this terrible body blow with the pandemic, that we are seeing the worst perhaps coming to an end and that Samvat 2077 will bring a lot more light, joy and will continue this bull run?
Of course, I think I do believe pretty much similar to what Pankaj shared. That I think this next 1 year, will be very, very different than what we've seen in last 1 year. Last 1 year was, of course, very, very challenging with pandemic around. And I think just before the pandemic, Indian economy was about to recover. I think banking sector crisis. I mean, post demon, if you see, you had demon, GST, RERA, and then IL&FS crisis. So Indian economy was for last 3-4 years was anyway in a difficult period. And before COVID, India was just recovering. But I think what COVID has done, it is unfortunate for humanity, but I think it has also created an additional growth drivers for India in form of, accelerated growth on IT services. And secondly, a very big change which has happened on the manufacturing front. I think first time, India's focus on manufacturing has become very, very sort of intense. So, the government is talking about doubling that GDP.
Okay, Gautam, coming across to you as well, do you also have a similar feeling about the new Samvat 2077? Because 76 clearly was more than a black swan event for the markets, given the pandemic-related disruption, heightened volatility, and the likes of it. How do you see 2077 begin? And in the meantime, till the markets actually make a meaningful comeback and a sustainable comeback, how does one ride the ambiguity?
Hi, Avan. Firstly, thanks for having me and wish you and the entire team at 80 Now a very happy Diwali and all your viewers. Well, markets more than anything else, 2020 has been a learning lesson for a lifetime. After 2008 played out, we thought that we had the script pretty much in hand for the rest of our lives because things could not have got worse. But with the kind of moves that we've seen in 2020, I think it's just phenomenal. I mean, and it just tells you how ahead the markets are in terms of on-the-ground realities. Because as this rally started off in the month of April and May, things were not good on the ground. You spoke to people and they said that, businesses aren't doing as well as the markets might be indicating. But gradually, if you look at the last 1 month, the numbers have been great, whether it's power consumption, auto sales, cement sales, the GSP collections. So all of it have come off really well. And you're getting this data when the Nifty has tested the level of 12,000. So the point which I was trying to make is that the market is really far, far ahead of what has been, happening in the real economy.
Okay, well, point taken then. Pankaj, coming back to you, if you could start with giving us your first big bet for this Samvat.
The first idea I would like to talk about is the banking sector. I think this banking sector has underperformed this rally so far because of concerns around rising NPAs because of the crisis. But some of the larger banks in India, I think, have faced this crisis exceedingly well. And my stock pick within the sector is ICICI Bank. I think the bank has undergone a significant shift in their strategy over the last couple of years in their business, where they have transitioned their business to significantly low risk or moderate risk business. And also there has been a significant management change that has happened. So I think the best of ICICI Bank lies ahead. And once we get through this crisis, I think probably it will be one of the fastest growing bank in India with very superior return metrics. So I'm very positive on ICICI Bank.
Okay, there you have it. That's the first dhamaka pick to watch out for, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers are dying to know what else it is that our stock pickers are picking out for the next Samvat. Vikas, let's begin with you. ICICI Bank, and this indeed has been quite the performer, but it's gone through its shares of ups and downs through the year. Continues to remain a marquee name in a lot of people's buy recommendation list. You two are jumping on the bandwagon. Let's talk about the long-term prospects for ICICI Bank. Why do you like this as your Samvat pick?
I think this is, one of the big bank which I think Pankaj mentioned that, there's a significant leadership change. Sandeep Bakshi is driving a lot of changes in the bank in a short period of time. I think the culture, dynamics, energy levels of the banks have changed. The credit cycle is behind. All the baggages of past have been cleared. And I think bank is galloping and doing very well.
Oh wow, so really betting big. ICICI Bank is the stock on Vikas's radar. Meantime, Gautam, let's talk about your recommendation, HDFC Life. It's definitely been a steady performer. More steam to go, and more importantly, what kind of levels is it that you're watching out for as your top idea?
Well, I think insurance is a structural story. I think this is a story which is here to stay. The entire sector did very well in the period of March to August, and thereafter in the last couple of months, they've just been languishing a little bit. But I think this is a good time to top up, add on your positions, and not just for the next 1 year, but I think if you have a horizon of 3 to 5 years, HDFC Life, according to me, could be a huge wealth creator. I think a huge brand, great charts, one of the leading market shares in the private space. And if you really compare the kind of market share with LIC has with HDFC Life or some of the other players, I think there is a lot of catch up to do. And I think today's generation is thinking a lot more about insurance than the generation of my father or my grandfather. And I think that is something that's clearly visible on the ground. And when I really combine that with the charts, I just get the feeling that this brand is here to stay for the next 5 to 10 years and could really give you supernormal returns. So we are very kicked about it. We have been recommending this stock for the last few months now. And at levels of 590, I think there is 10-15% downside at worst. And the upside could be potentially 50%. And if you have a 3 to 5 year horizon, it could potentially be a doubler. So I think it's one of the, very comfortable names that we feel to buy at a 12,000 index on the markets.
All right, Pankaj, coming back to you, we'd like to know what your second big bet is for the next Samvat. We understand you're quite optimistic about the prospects of ABFRL, especially at a time when the company is under immense pressure. There's so much, uncertainty about consumption pickup, apparel and fashion segments specifically. Tell us what makes you bet big on this one.
So the other idea we are betting on is Aditya Birla Fashions and Retail. They are the largest apparel retailer in India. The business has been impacted this year because all the malls and shops have been closed. But I think as the economy opens up, we think consumers will come back for shopping with a binge. We expect that there will be a return of vengeance shopping in India, as we've seen in some other parts of the world, including China.
Okay, all right. Moving on to Vikas then. Vikas, what's the second big idea that you have for our viewers, the one that you think is poised to do well over the next couple of months and years?
I think one of the very big shift which has happened post-pandemic is the spending pattern of large global companies on the IT side. There's a significant step up on the cloud migration and digitization by every company, whether you are in X sector versus Y sector. So from BFSI to retail to industrial, so everywhere companies globally are forced to spend at an accelerated pace on IT. And that's in we believe that IT over the next 4 or 5 years will generate significant growth momentum across the board. And the great part about IT sector is that it's a free cash flow generative, very profitable business, high ROE business. And in that space, and the entire sector will do well. But, one company we like is HCL Technologies. I think that company, it's a large part of that company's business focuses on cloud migration and infrastructure management, and apart from others. I mean, it's a broader services company, but that proportion is very large. And over the next couple of years, you will see a lot of spend being done on that, and this company will benefit from there. So I think HCL Technologies can deliver 18-20% return compounded over next 4 or 5 years, and maybe it can surprise on the upside because I think the amount of money which will be spent on IT services over the next 5 years will be significantly, and I think that's where and many companies will benefit from that. So we like HCL Tech in that.
Vikas, let's get a move on. And your third and final pick, you flagged off ICICI Bank, you spoke about HCL Technologies. Now there's a name within the mid-cap space. There's Praj Industries. Just talk to us about the long-term prospects, how you see the company growing, what kind of target price you have, and why you think it merits a buy recommendation for the next year.
So Praj is a very, very interesting play on a changing dynamics in the sugar sector. And I think wider expenditure on the capital goods side. This company, is not only global expert rather in the distillery space, but they also do a lot on the process engineering side, and many more, which basically caters on the capital goods side. And there's a significant capex expected on the sugar post recent policies of the government on the sugar sector. So huge amount of money will be spent on distilleries focusing on ethanol, and also this company has a new product which is focusing on biogas. So I think that also is a very interesting, exciting product, because more and more amount of investments will go into dealing with the agri waste, bio waste to convert into gas and recycling that, and the economics of that are very, very interesting.
Okay, there you have it. That's Praj Industries for you. Strong wealth creator and merits a buy for your portfolio. Moving on then, Gautam, what's the next idea that you're picking out for our viewers, a firecracker stock?
Talking about markets, you have to talk about pharma. I think pharma has been the theme and the story for the last 6 months. And I think this is a structural uptrend which is here to stay for many months and maybe even many quarters to come. We have been working with a target of as high as 13,500 on the pharma index. And if the index does go there, I think there will be a lot of contributors. We've seen already some marquee names do exceedingly well in the last 6 months. And I think this recent underperformance is a good opportunity to buy into some of the names. And the stock which I'm going to talk about today is Cadila Healthcare. I think it's had a very measured kind of a rally in the last 3.5 months. The results came in recently and they were top quality. There is a vaccine angle to it as well. And when I look at it on the charts, when I look at it on the relative strength charts and some of the other technical parameters that we watch on the weekly and on the monthly time frame, I get the feeling that this could be one of the biggest surprise winners of the last 1 year. I think what an IPCA lab or a DV's lab has done in the last 2 years is what Cadila and Biocon could actually do over the next 2 years. And between Cadila and Biocon, I think Cadila is clearly a stock to look at levels of 420. And as I said earlier for HDFC Life, I think the downside is very limited, 15% maybe, and the upside is to the tune of 50 to 100%. So yes, going with the pharma, Cadila is my stock.
Well, Gautam, you also have a pick from the blue chip IT universe, which is Infosys. Vikas was just talking about how cloud migration, digitization is something that he's betting big on. Tell us why you think Infosys is the best bet within the IT space.
Index to hit lifetime highs. So in that sense, it clearly exhibited relative strength with what the sector had done. And a couple of months back, it was single-handedly responsible for taking the Nifty beyond 11,000. I think this is a story which is here to stay for a couple of years now. Vikas mentioned some very valid points on the fundamental side. I think from a technical standpoint, I see all of those aspects coming into play. In fact, when I look at it on the relative strength charts versus the Nifty, I see a pattern which I actually saw in Reliance a couple of years back. So while Infosys could have already gone up quite a bit in the last 6 months, I think the best is way, way ahead of us. And from current levels of 1100, I see Infosys surprising on the upside and outperforming all other top names. And I see the stock moving towards 1500 to 1700.
Okay, that's heartening to know. Pankaj, I'm coming back to you for the next question. While you and even your, the guests who are there along with you are all betting big on the prospects of the market over the long haul, but in the interim, how do we navigate or perhaps manage the volatility in the interim? If you could tell us what are your targets for the next 1 year? Do you have any particular number in mind?
I firmly believe that the best of India is yet to come. Having said that, I think investors will have to learn to live through this volatility, and more importantly, we should, ignore this volatility to an extent. So investors should take a slightly more medium-term to longer-term view, invest in good quality, high-quality businesses, and then stay put. Have faith in India and stay put for a long period of time. That's the best way to play bull markets. Short-term volatility will take care of itself. So investors should not be too much concerned or perturbed about short-term news flows or volatilities in the markets.
Vikas, what a year it's been for the markets. We've digested everything from a global pandemic to the US elections to, a whole host of other triggers. What's in store for the markets? What do you think is going to be the key trigger on the minds of the markets come Samvat 2077?
There is no one key trigger. I think there are multiples. And what I feel that combination of all these factors will create a single biggest factor, in my opinion, is the interest rates coming down. We have had a very, very sharp correction in the interest rates, and it looks like that over the next couple of years, it is likely to remain here. And that has impact on the asset price valuation, investment cycle, as well as the consumption cycle. Today, the AMIs have gone down significantly, right, because of the drop in the interest rate. So that is one. Secondly, I think what I was talking about earlier, because of the manufacturing progress, I think the government is targeting to double the GDP over the next 4 or 5 years. This will again kickstart the investment cycle as well as job creation in the economy.
All right, that's the view coming in from Vikas. And finally then, Gautam, let's get in your take. Look at where we are for the markets. As you said, we really seem to be ahead of the ground realities, given that we've been scaling up, despite the fact that we've been thrown quite a few challenges our way. Do you think that next year we're on site to even reclaim those lifetime highs for the markets? And how much further do you see the steam for the markets going forward?
Well, lifetime highs are not far away, just 2% away. So it could just happen next week itself, and very likely coinciding with Diwali. But I think my working target based on the charts is about 13,000. There is a lot of logic and research that has gone into this number. So we feel that, you could see the Nifty testing this level at some point of time over the next many months. But I think the bigger opportunity is going to be the mid caps and small caps. I think next year is not going to be about the Nifty and the large caps names. There is a bigger opportunity at play in the mid caps. Mind you, in the last couple of months, while the Nifty has gone up about 1,500 points, mid caps have been languishing in a range. And it's only in the last few days that they have really broken out beyond that level of 17,500. So I think the bigger opportunity is there. Some of the sugar stocks, fertilizer stocks, basically the agri theme, are names, which could potentially be money spinners over the next 1 year. And my working target on the mid-cap index is as high as 20,000. So which is about 22% away from where we are right now.
All right, gentlemen, I hope all our viewers are also taking note of all the opportunities that you see in the upcoming Samvat, and they stay away from things that you're suggesting them to be wary of. Thank you so much on that note, Gautam, Vikas and Pankaj, for joining in and making our viewers Diwali extra special. On that note, wish you all a great, prosperous and safe Diwali. Thanks once again for joining us.